So I have a quick video for you guys today on the looking at the history on hops. So a lot of people have been asking me about more where they came from and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different origins, of course. Ancient as history itself, I guess, is the best way to start there. But for first, they say a lot of them came from Egypt originally, even though there's not a lot of evidence from that side of things. But there are documented history of hops being used, and as far back as 822 AD. Um, Before that, they'd use a lot of herbs and spices, and the mixtures they would call it gruit, and those two together would be what they used to flavor the beer before hops. And then eventually, in the 12th and 13th century, Germans began using um, growing them as actual production of commercial production for selling and stuff like that. And then actually in 13th century, evidence of actual exporting hops as a commercial export for the country. Um, a lot of different government entities have made it more prevalent these days to use hops because in 1710, the English Parliament actually basically put on a tax on or banned use of the non-use of hops in brewing, making it more prevalent to use hops in brewing as opposed to anything else. So it was based on a tax structure they had used to basically kind of push brewers towards using that as a better way to tax the breweries and then the consumption of beer, and then ended up being the best way to get around that was just using more hops over more malt um, than what was doing before that. So it's kind of a weird way they did that, but that is how hops became a little more prevalent in the Western world. Uh, as far as the actual history itself, there is not a lot that went into um, beers before the 800-ish AD time frame. It was all herbs and spices, and later on, obviously, more and more hops were grown. There is a lot more varieties today, hundreds of varieties, but there is kind of a few that are that were created in the last, the 19th century or so, or 1900s or so, based on cross pollinations and stuff like that. Before that, there was obviously less varieties, but then eventually, once we got more information on the science of breeding these things and then how to best grow them in the fields, we became even better, of course, and now have even hundreds of varieties now. So I hope that is helpful on the history of hops. Thanks for watching and subscribing.